So we come to the strawberry moon today, the strawberry full moon. We are a little over halfway through the full moons of 2026. We have extra luck this year that we have 13 full moons instead of 12, the equivalent of a lunar leap year. So we are on our 7th full moon. Yes. Last month we skipped our blue moon a little bit and did the Buddha's birthday ceremony. Some of you attended that outside, and before that the flower moon. But the strawberry moon, for obvious reasons, it's less to do with the color, but more to do with the wild strawberries that become available around this time of the year, which are well known at Wimbledon and so on. Yes, this is the time of the year when this is celebrated. It's a time when the moon actually may look a little bit strawberry colored, maybe not flavored, but colored, because it's very low on the horizon. Yeah, so it gets some of the pink tinge to it as well. And usually once a year I to save people asking, why do we have to meditate on a full moon? Like, it may not be very obvious to us. Why should we gather together on the full moon in order to meditate? Yeah, I'm the one with all the questions today. Because, yeah, if you want to be a little bit woo-woo, you might say, oh, well, it's well known that when it's full moon, everyone has to take a deep breath and remember your craziness and bad luck are being induced by the extra gravitational pull. Is that it? Well, the moon is very powerful. Can have a big effect on people's behaviors. It's strong enough to move huge bodies of the ocean. Yeah, between high tide and low tide, do you know how many feet that is? Well, that's a lot of water. And we are made up a lot of water, right? And it's actually said that when the moon comes close to the Earth, it actually pulls the Earth's crust up several inches. So very powerful. So it's likely that we are affected by the moon too. Hopefully in a good way. So the full moon is therefore like a better time to meditate more? What do you reckon? Well, they did do some researches, and the sort of things you get reported from mental health institutions, that on the full moon they have more bad behavior, maybe? Like lunatics? Well, they did some research on bipolar disorder, and they found that actually sometimes during the full moon there is more tendency towards manic behavior rather than depressive behavior. So that's one thing that did check out. They checked out also apparently 7.5 million women for menstruation patterns and found no correlation. They also did a study in Finland to see whether the murder rate went up during full moon, like all the werewolves come out or something like that, and there was no correlation. Yeah, so you can sleep sleep at ease, but maybe not as well as normal, because sometimes people find that the full moon does disrupt their sleep patterns and people tend to sleep a little bit less than usual on full moon day. And also it tends to boost your cardiovascular efficiency. So those are some things which do seem to correlate with full moon. So maybe the positive energy, the light, the wakefulness, extra energy perhaps that we have is a useful time to come together to meditate more. So we generally try to meditate one way or another, inside, outside, depending on the weather and the season, on every full moon day. Yes. Our full moon today is known in the farmer's almanac as the strawberry full moon. Actually, this is an Anishinaabe Mowin or Mahican Ojibwe Oneida term. It's also known as the gardening moon for the Anishinaabe or Ojibwe, flowering moon for those two tribes again, river moon for the Catawba, so South Carolina. They are arriving, plants are sprouting for Cherokee, summer moon for the Tunica and Seneca, berries ripen moon for the Haida, green corn moon for the Cherokee, blooming moon for the Anishinaabe, birth moon for the Tlingit, egg-laying moon or the hatching moon for the Cree. Yeah. And it's said to be a time to celebrate the fullness of life, give thanks for the abundance of the season, get crystal clear, so meditate more, I guess, check in with yourself, purge any unwanted things from your life, ground yourself more, and to meditate. And the pink tinge to the strawberry moon is sometimes from the moon just being low on the horizon. It's also a time of the year closest to summer solstice. I just got back from England, so it's well known to be the only time of the year you can go to Stonehenge and not have to pay for it, because you can claim that you are a pagan and it's part of your religious rites. Yes, but normally they don't let you in without paying £30 for the privilege. Yeah. And summer solstice is a time to nourish yourself, the light of the sun, honor the light within us, reflect on the cycle of our lives, reflect on the natural flow of energy, turn inward to find nourishment that we need to grow, pause and wait for the energy planted in the spring to reach full bloom, and to trust what we have set in motion previously, that merely needs to be nurtured. But apparently not only in Stonehenge, but also in Manhattan. Have you heard of Manhattanhenge? Apparently it's a thing. The street layout of Manhattan actually aligned perfectly with the summer solstice. I'm not sure if it's the sunrise or the sunset, but apparently it's a thing now to celebrate solstice in Manhattan, where large numbers of people come together to see the alignment of the sun on the summer solstice. Yeah. So today I hope you have learned a useful technique of meditation which you can remember, perhaps practice further in your own time, and generally that is how meditation can become a part of our lives and part of our new set of habits for our mind, by gradually learning to center our mind and to check in with our mind and to keep our mind more centered, not only during the times of meditation but throughout our day as well. Today we meditated for probably 40 minutes, but generally I would recommend that you start with about 20 minutes of meditation, like on your own time, as it were, at a time of day which is peaceful for you. You don't have too many interruptions, when you have a good energy, you're not feeling too tired. And if you can do a little of that every day, then little by little in your 20 minutes you can go further in your meditation practice, and you may even have the motivation to extend the length of time you're meditating for. Today we heard a very good introduction to meditation from the Venerable Daniel. He is one of the monks who has also recorded audio tracks on an app which can be downloaded for free onto your cell phone, called MindGem, which is associated with his full moon activities. And at the last count, there are more than 200 audio tracks on there, which you can follow along with, of various lengths, different languages as well, which you may find which teacher or which method of meditation resonates best for you. Apart from that, we do regular weekly activities here, classes for meditation. Generally, they have half an hour, 40-minute meditations every Thursday evening in the building just adjacent with the red awning, or here on the Sunday mornings. And the added benefit of Sundays is that there is lunch served afterwards, which everyone can partake off. Yeah. In the longer term, we encourage people to practice meditation maybe for a full weekend, and our next weekend retreat is coming up from the 10th to the 12th of July, where people check in on a Friday evening, meditate the full day Sunday, usually 4 sessions of meditation, have a chance to evaluate their meditation as well, and it finishes up about 3 p.m. on the Sunday afternoon. Yeah, so that's generally something which you could work towards, maybe after you've been practicing meditation for 2 months or so. Also, we do some meditations outside the meditation center as well. And next month we are doing our Long Beach outdoor candlelight meditation, where we take over, I think it's Belmont Shore, somewhere down in Long Beach, and at the time of the sunset, which is very picturesque. Sometimes a little chilly, I might add. Once the sun goes down, it gets cold. So if you're thinking of going along for that one, maybe bring a little seat to sit on, and a blanket as well. Yeah. Next full moon is going to be on Wednesday, July the 29th. It's also known as Asalha Puja Day in the Buddhist calendar, but it's a time of spiritual gratitude. Yeah, so 6 to 7:30 p.m. And if you're unable to come in person, there's also the possibility to join via Zoom or watch via Facebook or YouTube instead. Also, I'd like to say, some of you may have noticed some of the ground work going on down at the front of the property in preparation for a new meditation hall that's going to be built there over the next year or so. We're doing a ground dedication ceremony on August the 2nd. It's a Sunday evening between 6 and 7 p.m. So meditating outside, doing scattering little gems like in the Thai tradition. If anyone would like to come along for that, please let us know in advance, and I think there's a sign up on the registration as well. It would be a good opportunity to be a part of the history of the building of the center. Yes. We also do meditation for kids. The next one is going to be on August the 8th. It's on a Saturday afternoon. Generally, kids of about 4-year-olds upwards tend to do very well with meditation. And if you start them early, then they tend to, I guess, grow up into calmer kids. Yeah. Sometimes they may not be so calm beforehand, but after a little bit of meditation, usually rather shorter for kids, then they do tend to find that is enjoyable. Yes. Our next outdoor one officially, you notice the artificial grass going down there, will be the outdoor full moon meditation of September the 26th, which is a Saturday evening. We start at 5:30. Registration for 6 p.m. meditation start. Yeah. So I guess that's all the announcements I have today. But if there's any questions, comments, or feedback at this time, I'd be very pleased to hear from you.
Next, we will continue with a question and answer session with Venerable Nicholas, or you may share your experience. So for anyone who would like to share, please raise your hand. We'll bring a mic to you.
Don't all rush at once. I know you're shy. Yes, go on.
I've got one. I've got a question. So when people start to meditate, of course, wandering thoughts happen, right? Right? Wandering thoughts. And then you're told, okay, let that go and then come back to your meditation object. But then it happens over and over and over and over. So what is a reasonable expectation on how long it would take someone, like if they meditate a little bit every day, like how long it would take before they could actually notice an improvement in that? What do you think?
Well, of course, it can be very personal. Not everyone brings the same baggage to the meditation practice. And generally what I've noticed from the meditators I've had fill in questionnaires is that generally after 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks, they would tend to see a noticeable improvement in their meditation. Some people may take longer than that, but I think the thing which keeps them going on a sort of daily practice, in spite of not seeing much progress, is the fact that they do feel at least some solace from doing that meditation practice, that at least for that 20 minutes a day, they have a little bit of a window which they can break out of their sort of constant panic or anxieties or whatever other sleeplessness which they're suffering from in their life, in a way that gives them some hope that if they practice further, then this will become their a regular state of mind. So generally 6 to 8 weeks, but as I say, if you haven't got there after 6 to 8 weeks, don't give up completely, but maybe readjust and try to notice what does help your meditation to get better. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question also. This is connected to the loving kindness portion of the meditation that we do toward the end. I found myself today getting a little bit caught up in the story of someone that I wanted to send loving kindness to who's going through something, and just do you have advice for that, to not get too far into the story of the people?
Yeah, so I think the idea of spreading loving kindness toward yourself and then to everybody first, no matter who they may be, helps you to sort of, I guess, objectify those others a little bit better, because you've objectified yourself in a way, you objectified the whole world, and then if you come to a few people who need a little bit of extra love, just to see them as the recipient of the loving kindness without getting too much into being pulled into problems. There is some meditation practices where they recommend taking on other people's suffering and giving them back love, even where you breathe in the sort of the dark vibes from that person and breathe out light and love to them. But I always worry about what happens to all those dark vibes once you breathe them in. Yeah, I think it can't be very healthy. So generally we tend to just give without getting caught up with the dark side of the vibes, which others might want to dispose of with us otherwise. Yeah, so not getting caught up in the detail, in short. Yeah.
Anyone else have a question or wish to share an experience?
I get distracted with all the colors and visuals.
Ooh,
and I don't know
exciting.
if I'm supposed to kind of like stare into that or ground or spread it. I don't know what way to go.
So I think the important word here is, well, what is your point of observation? So from where are you observing those things? And if you can just be at that point of observation, then all these things may be going on, which is generally like a great achievement. But you have to be somehow grounded within that to be able to have a point of reference or an anchor point for yourself from which you can observe those things. Otherwise, you go to those things. It's like if you hear a sound and your attention goes to the sound. But in fact, the sound's coming to your ears, so if you're just at your ears, then you can also hear everything. So you don't actually need to be shocked and go to those things which are making the disturbing noise or whatever. You can be within yourself. And meditation is much the same. Sometimes our visual field is much wider than it might be normally, just with our eyes closed. But we need to be within ourselves, somehow grounded or anchored in ourselves, so that we're not sort of constantly like rushing here and there to all the different experiences. And generally the point which is recommended with this meditation technique is something called the center of the body. which is somewhere round about where physically the solar plexus might be. So not up here with our brain or whatever, but rather more at the center of our body, a place of balance, at the point where if you take your deepest breath, then that's where the breath would reach to. So that's often a very grounding place from which, even though you might have wonderful, amazing, spectacular things happening, but you are within that and saying, okay, so that's great, so what's next? Whatever, but you're still within yourself and not being somehow thrown off balance by those experiences. And then they will evolve to a point where they become more stable. Yeah. But it sounds quite exciting already. Yeah.